Hey, it's me, and welcome to episode 11 of GG3, where I give you the good and bad of the things that I've read this past month. So for this past month, I've well, it's just the regular issues that I've been reading. So to be honest, this past month I didn't actually read that many comics, so this episode should be a little shorter than the other ones. Hooray! So let's hop into it. For DC, I read Truth and Justice #1, Future State Aquaman #1, and Future State Suicide Squad #1. Now for Independent, I read Haha #1, Abbott 1973 #1, The Last Ronin #1, Mighty Morphin #2, Something is Killing the Children #8, Transformers Beast Wars #1, and We Only Find Them When They're Dead. For Marvel, I read King in Black, Black Panther #1, Moon Knight from the Dead #1, and X-Men Legends #1. We're going to start off by reading a summary for the comic Truth and Justice. Vixen takes center stage in the debut issue of this new team-up series. Mary McCabe is many things. A superhero, model, activist, but can she add Godkiller to the list? Vixen teams up with Dr. Mist and Impala of the Global Guardians to face down an ancient deity that's taken over the body of a scientist investigating powerful magical artifacts. Vixen will need to dig deep and use all the abilities in the animal kingdom to face down this powerful primeval threat. My primeval threat is the words. So what I did like about this was, it was funny. Well, just a little part in the beginning when she was doing like a model photo shoot, and then the guy shows up to request her help, and then she's like, "Oh, sorry, gotta go." And I think they were saying that happened before. But yeah, it was funny. Then her heading off to wherever do saving. Yeah, not much else really happened in it, so that was the pro. I guess what I didn't like, which this is a common thing in usual issue ones, as I said, not much happened. It was, excuse me, the guy fetched her, they headed over, she talked to Dr. Mist, I believe his name is, and she arrived in front of the archaeologist, person who was possessed. Next is Future State Aquaman. When Jackson Hyde accepted the mantle of Aquaman, he didn't expect to also have to mentor Andy Curry, Arthur and Mara's teen daughter, nor did he expect that he and Andy would get sucked into the Confluence, an interdimensional nexus that connects distant planets and galaxies through the one great ocean. And he certainly did not expect to lose Andy in the process of trying to find their way back home. Now Jackson's not sure how long he's been stuck in a prison on Neptune. 5 years? Or how many times he's tried to escape? 200 at least. But today Jackson saw something in the water that gave him hope for the first time in a long time. And his captors have no idea what he's got in store for them. So some things I liked about this comic was, I guess personally, I didn't know former Aqualad's name was Jackson Hyde, because I don't know if he was, anyway, for Young Justice, the cartoon, I don't know when it aired, but his name was Calder in that, so I just thought, I don't know if he was made first for that and then transferred into the comic, or point is I thought his name was Calder, so when they were talking about Jackson Hyde, I'm like, he looks like Calder though. So yes, that's cool. And I also enjoyed the relationship between Aquaman and Aqualass slash woman. What I didn't like, there was nothing I didn't like about it. Next is Future State Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad enters the Future State era as Amanda Waller uses Task Force X to save the world and remake it in her image. But what happens when the team shows up to stop her? In the second story in this exercise issue, Black Adam, the immortal one-time champion of the Wizard Shazam, rules the planet Kondak in the 853rd century. Can he save the future from a threat rooted in the past? So things I liked about this comic was I like the people who are on the Justice Squad, which is the people on the cover. So it was supposed to be a Batman, a Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, an Aquaman, and a Flash. I feel like I should actually use their proper names, but I don't remember them. But that's just who they look like. This next thing that I like is it's a pro and a con kinda. I enjoyed the second story more that were involved with Black Adam. More interesting. Things I didn't like about the comic was not much Batman, since it's the Suicide Squad. You can guess what happened to him. And Suicide Squad story was meh. Okay, now we're moving on to independent, and we're going to be starting with the comic. Alright, so just to warn you guys, you're probably want to grab a snack because this summary is quite lengthy. So let me get started now. Haha is a genre-jumping, throat-lumping look at the sad, scary, hilarious life of those who get paid to play the fool, but these ain't your typical jokers. Whew, that took a while. Things I liked about the story was, poor guy, but at least he was optimistic, unlike myself. Another thing that I guess it sounds weird when I'm going to say, but I guess I liked about it was I felt uncomfortable in parts, which obviously I know is what they're aiming for. Mainly, well, you know what, whatever. When he's getting, I guess, beat up, and then he kind of like, I guess, retaliates. It was like, felt creepy. Don't know why I couldn't think of that word. Things I didn't like. Things I didn't like about this story. Now I know a career as a clown is not enough to support my family. Future family, I should say. No! Next, we got Abbott 1973. Detroit's hardest hitting journalist, Alina Abbott, is trying to make a fresh start at a new newspaper, but her deadly past isn't ready to let go. The city is days away from the historic election of a black candidate as their new mayor, but a vicious new group has emerged to destroy him, targeting anyone who supports his campaign or the change he represents. That means Abbott, who discovers the group's connection to a dangerous dark magic, has been targeted for certain death, unless he embraces the true power as the Lightbringer to save the city. Things I like about this comic are, it feels very much like the previous series of Abbott, both art and story-wise, which I didn't get a chance to look, which I'm assuming it's the same person writing and the same artist from the other one. I guess it's true to its time, where I would say that she is in a relationship with another lady, and they're trying to keep it on the low. At least it seems like. And oh no, not the old lady. You'll understand when you read. Things that I didn't like. Hey yo, Mr. Hanning, what are you doing? You'll also understand once you read it. Next we have The Last Ronin. In a future New York City, far different from the one we know today, a lone surviving turtle goes on a seemingly hopeless mission to obtain justice for his fallen family and friends. Things that I liked about this comic was I liked how they showed the other turtles talking by having the speech bubbles coming from out of the frame of the picture. So it'd be like, this is the frame, the speech bubble will come out from here. The end issue almost turned into a tearjerker. I guess it's not things I didn't like, but things that bothered me. Which turtle is it? I'm thinking it's Leo or Raph, because they never say the name. Obviously, the person doesn't say their own name because they're by themselves. But I don't think even his hallucinations of his brothers say that the living turtle's name either. So I don't know if this is something just to be revealed later or if this is just supposed to be common knowledge, but I don't know which turtle it is. Next is Mighty Morphin 2. Zordon enlists Billy's help as the Mighty Morphin team deals with a shocking betrayal by the Power Rangers team. As the Mighty Morphin team remains fractured, Zed launches his latest attack. Only the new Green Ranger stands in his way, but none of them realize they've walked into a trap, courtesy of Zed's new powers. So what I do like about this comic is I didn't realize, which I guess maybe I should have thought, this Mighty Morphin comic is connected to the new Power Rangers comic that also started at the same time. Because as you saw or heard me talk about in the summary, that there was a betrayal by the Power Rangers, he's talking about the other Ranger team. So yeah, that event, I guess it's going to be connected to the other one, even though they're off in space. But yes, it was cool to see that they were connected. What else? Cool new enemies, new enemy upgrades. Instead of fighting the typical, what they're called, putties before. I don't know what they're called now. Sea putties, whatever. Things I didn't like. There was nothing I didn't like. I like Power Rangers. Only thing I would just say is I miss the original team, but things change. Next we have Something is Killing the Children. Erica's employers, the mysterious Order of St. George, have taken control of Archer's Peak and sealed it off from the outside world. But can they hope to quarantine the damage caused by the monsters and Erica's slaughter? So some things I like about this comic was it's wrapping up the previous event, kind of. I guess the climax when she fought one of the monsters. And now in this issue is kind of setting up, I want to say, the next arc. Another thing is quite the predicament the guy's in at the end. Some things I didn't like. There's nothing I didn't like. I don't know I said that so frantically, but yeah. Next we have Transformers Beast Wars. In the future, the planet Cybertron belongs to the scientific-minded Maximals and the action-oriented Predacons. When a crew of Predacons, led by the successor to the Megatron name, steal a golden disc and a ship capable of traveling through time, it's up to Optimus Primal and his Maximal crew, Rattrap, Rhinox, Cheetor, and the new character, Nynx, to catch them. A brand new Beast era begins in an oversized first issue. Things that I liked about this comic was it made me feel like I was watching Beast Wars all over again. I don't remember how old I was when I watched it, but I loved it. I would say Beast Wars was probably my favorite maybe even my introduction to like. Okay, no, it wasn't my intro. It was probably my favorite Transformers that I watched as a kid. I like the. It could also be wrong. I like the slight tweak to characters, like Rhinox. Don't think he was much of a fighter in the show. He was more of the scientist person that I knew. I guess he would fight when he had to, but yeah. And Optimus Prime, I don't remember what he was like in the comic, but he seemed kind of playful. You know what? Also, I was watching Beast Wars the other day, and I guess Optimus was still kind of playful in a way in it. New characters, as I said in the summary, Nynx, who's on the Maximal, is a bat, and there's one of the Predacons that I saw I don't recognize, so cool. Also, I find it funny how their names conveniently match their animal form, like Rat Trap, Rhinox, or Rat Trap the rat, Rhinox the rhino, Cheetor the cheetah. Yeah, because in the show, it was, I don't know if they had like a name before, but they crashed, they got their new forms, and then they gave themselves new names. Yeah. But anyways, just funny. Things I didn't like about it. It was short, and now I'm reading that saying it was supersized. So now I'm scared for the next issue. Is it supposed to be shorter? It didn't feel very supersized. Next we only find them when they're dead. Captain Malik and the crew of the Vihan to escape from their tyrannical government and chart a course straight to the first living god they can find. But the only thing more dangerous than what lies ahead of them is who's following behind them. What I didn't like about this comic, art was nice. What I didn't like about this comic was, I don't know, it seemed to end randomly. Not really generate much interest for me to read the next issue. I think I have the next issue, so I will read it, but if I didn't have it, just off the ending of this one, I've been like, okay, and? Also, the reason for this crew to be risking their lives to possibly find a giant does not seem very convincing to me, so I don't know, not that strong of a story either so far. Next, we're doing King in Black, Black Panther. Symbiotes invade the unconquerable country of Wakanda. T'Challa's most treasured allies are lost in a storm of Null's making in this wild one-shot. Wakanda's gone dark, invaded by Null's massive symbiote army. Wakanda needs its king. It needs the Black Panther. But once again, the hero must choose between his role as an adventurer, his role as a king, and the yearning of his heart. Some things I liked about this comic was, I loved the story. And the story and the story. This was my first time reading one of the, I guess, a King in Black tie-in, or anything King in Black. I haven't read anything. And I enjoyed it. Maybe I'll consider reading some of the other, something else from the King in Black whole story arc. Watching King T'Challa work is always a delight, in seeing how he's able to lead Wakanda. What I didn't like, which I guess I found out in the summary, it's only a one-shot. I'm sure Black Panther will be in other people's stories, but I really like this one. Unfortunately, it's only a one-shot. Next, Moon Knight from the Dead. Mark Spector is Moon Knight, or is he? It's hard to tell these days, especially when New York's wildest vigilante protects the street with two-fisted justice and 3. That's right, count 'em. 3 different personalities. But even with the mystical force of the Egyptian moon god Khonshu fueling his crusade, how does the Knight's greatest detective save a city that's as twisted as he is? The road to victory is going to hurt. A lot. But there, as Moon Knight punches ghosts, investigates a sleep experiment that's driving his patients insane, travels to the Mushroom Graveyard planet, faces Black Spectre, and takes on 20 mob enforcers to save an abductee alone. Marvel's most mind-bending adventure begins as Moon Knight sleuths his way to the rotten core of New York's most bizarre mysteries. Some things I liked about this comic was, I don't know much about Moon Knight, probably my real first exposure to him, but I like how he has a car where I guess it's controlled by a computer. So when he was first in it, it seemed like he was talking to someone, but then it shows the driver's seat, no one's there. And to me, it kind of adds to the fact that he has dissociative identity disorder. I hope that's the correct diagnosis they said. I like the line when he says, "I died once. It was boring, so I stood up." I also enjoyed the fight sequence with the perpetrator at the end of the, not close to the end of the first issue. Things I didn't like about this comic, I don't got any cons. Perfect start. You know what? Actually, I think. On second thought, never mind. Next, we're doing X-Men Legends. A special saga of Cyclops and Havoc as Shi'ar returns to Earth in search of the Forsaken One. But what secrets will the Summers brothers uncover? And how will its revelation change what you thought you knew about the X-Men? Get ready for a story decades in the making. Things I like about this comic is it's cool how they did the art for it. Similar to, I guess, I don't know if it's 90s art, but like older comic art. Seems like I don't see much art like that, I don't think. Also this Adam guy seems really cool. And potentially OP. Well, not OP, but he seems really cool. His powers reminds me of a person in an anime that I just watched recently, which also seems cool. Yeah, a lot of coolness to go around, we'll say. Things I didn't like, some points it just seemed kind of confusing, but that's just for me. Other than that, it was a good story actually. Okay, now that we got through all that, now to get to my Grand 3. So for that, my picks are Truth and Justice #1, Transformers Beast Wars #1, and King and Black Panther #1. Yep, those are my Grand 3. I'm really a sucker. Well, for the Beast Wars, honestly, I could just hear all the characters talking in their voices from the TV show. I could not pick it. The King and Black Panther, as I said, I love the story. For Truth and Justice, I enjoyed it, but honestly, to me, it was just the best out of the three. But yeah, if you guys read any of these, leave a comment. Tell me, or tell everyone, what you thought about these specific comics. Say if you had any different pros and cons. Next month will probably just be another regular episode. I don't know, maybe I might just do not as many comics all the time. Like, I'll just read whatever, and maybe I'll just pick the first 14. Yeah. Again, if you guys got any suggestions, you can send a message to either me or to Anika, and I'll add it to my to-read list. And who knows, maybe you'll make my Grand 3. You know what? I'll do that. If someone suggests something and I pick it in my Grand 3, I'm gonna see if I can send the person something. Some type of incentive, I guess. I haven't really decided what, but I'll think of something. So yeah. Leave your comments below. Nothing else really to say. So, I'll see you next time. Dang, what have I got myself into?